Well, welcome back, Blade Gang. This old sword with you once again. And the title of today's video is called Strictly Tactical. These are 5 knives amongst many others that I have that could also qualify. So if you're missing your favorite or you wish I'd included another, maybe we'll do another iteration of this video. But I find that 5 is really a comfortable number to cover in the time period that I'm going to devote to this video. So yeah, there are other knives out there, maybe some of your favorites that are going to qualify, but the criteria here is that the primary purpose of these blades is self-defense, tactical use, law enforcement, combat use, military, etc., etc., or just simply last-ditch self-defense. So they fall into different categories because they're different sizes, they're different weights, they're different blade profiles, much different, and I kind of arranged it that way. So where to start? How about in the middle with this really nice Sig Sauer made by Hogue K320, meant to go along with the P320 Sig pistol as kind of a companion piece. It is the handle is a high density glass filled nylon. They call forget the exact name Hogue uses for it, but you can drive over it with a truck and it doesn't break, and it's got a lot of integrity to it. This is the Tonto version. They also make a drop point version. They also make it in various colors now, including desert tan, and they make an auto model with and without serrations. So I think altogether you've got about a dozen options on this knife. It is one of the most perfect, I would say, medium-sized tactical knives. Can have a lot of uses. Obviously that Tonto blade has a lot of penetration capability, while it still has a lot of cutting ability and some EDC ability. The thing I like about this knife is 4-position clip with brass inserts. Really a high quality job by Hogue. The clip is very unique, and I haven't seen too many others like it. It's deep carry, but it gives you these little cutouts, these scallops here for traction, which I find is very, very good. You still get a lanyard hole. You get a very aggressive molded in texturing, and you get that up top, you get that in the middle, and this is on my highly recommended list as far as tactical folders go. Uses the Able Lock system, which is kind of a takeoff on Benchmade's Access system. There you have the labeling, Sig Sauer. I don't know if it says Hogue. Yeah, it says Hogue as well. So made by Hogue, branded for Sig Sauer. This is the K320 Tonto. Great jimping in there. Just not a heavy knife either. Got plenty of carryability to it. I'm going to close that up and move to another, quickly becoming one of my favorite knife companies. Made by Fox is this Bastinelli Gecko, and he spells that G-E-K-K-O, not G-E-C-K-O for some reason. Could be a language thing. Don't know, or it could have a different meaning. This is a very mean pointy Tonto. Interesting the way that the blade drops there and narrows. High on penetration. It's got a titanium side and a micarta on this one. Deep carry clip. Hardened steel insert. There was at least one more recent Bastinelli knife I'm not going to complain about on this video that did not have a hardened steel insert, and I find there's a big difference in lock stick and you know, galling and things that happen when you match titanium to steel. In this case, it's steel on steel, and it's got a great action. Not exactly fall shutty, but smooth on bearings as far as I know. Kind of a high flipper for those that may not like that. N690 steel, as are many Fox knives. Ergos are super on it. You've got a great point down if you want to go that way in your pakal. Edges out, however. And this shelf here can act as a pocket opener, even though it doesn't have any texturing or jimping on it. The Mako folder, which would have been another one I could have included in this by Bastinelli, does have the front face there with the Bram Frank style jimping on it. But this still works. If you give it a good pull back in your pocket as you withdraw it, it does snap right open. Got a lanyard hole. Nice micarta, as I said. Backspacer of, I believe, G10. Again, snaps open, really locks in. So as with many knives that have the tall flipper tab, the positive on that is it becomes a long finger guard, and you really don't have any chance of slipping forward onto that blade on a thrust. But yeah, this will cut very well. Got a flat grind, not a particularly tall grind, but you get a quite a fine edge on that, both on the front grind and on the main grind. Nice swedge up in there. Just all in all, I like this better than some of the more expensive Bastinellis, quite frankly. Moving on. How about the Benchmade Fact? This is a very discreet axis lock with an aluminum scales. They do make aftermarket scales for this knife, so you can fancy it up. I decided to stick with the aluminum because it is not too rough, but it's got plenty of traction there. Switchable clip, deep carry, and that's kind of a specialized clip for Benchmade, a little different than their usual screw layout. So, you know, if you wanted to switch the clip, and I don't see why you would, it's got to have that two-hole alignment. Could be some other clips out there that'll fit it. It's skeletonized, and that lightens it up. A lot of folks don't like the slots in the handle on knives. I don't mind, especially in this case. What it does is make this an extremely light knife. By the way, all of these have their own reviews on my channel, so if you want to learn more about any one of them, then go right ahead and check out those reviews. You can look them up by name. Axis lock, as I said. What's the steel on this guy? I believe it's 154. Nope. S30V. Discreet. Very tactical. Got some nice jimping there. Even though it's a slender handle, it holds very well. It's got enough width to it. Wide open. Just some pillars there. Standoffs. Very stabby knife, as other reviewers have characterized this style of knife. Got kind of a stonewash finish, mild stonewash finish. It is extremely sharp, even though that is a relatively short grind. It's a flat grind on both sides, obviously not double-edged, but look at that long spear point configuration, that profile. That is a stabby knife that will also cut. So for last ditch, deep in the pocket, use it when you need it, and even some EDC, the Fact is definitely one to consider. Well, we're going to move on to a specialty blade. This is the Spyderco Pikal I believe this was designed by, I can't remember his first name, I believe his last name is Douglas, pardon me, who goes by the name South Narc, and does have his own blades that he's making right now, all of which can be held edge in, point down, as the Filipino stylists call this pakal or pikal. So it's a stabbing and ripping blade with the edge on the inside to be able to control opponent's hands, wrists, elbows, shoulders, what have you. It's about a 3-inch blade of S30V. It is one of the sharpest blades I own right out of the box. This hasn't been touched. Uses the ball bearing lock. I'm not sure if it has another name. I call it the ball bearing lock by Spyderco. Shows up on a few of their knives. Got the plastic cover over it there. In this case, it's clear. I don't think they're making this anymore, but you can check. Uses the wire clip, not deep carry, but it is easily switchable side to side. I have put the clip on the left side of the knife. Would it be left side? No, actually right side of the knife. And what Spyderco gives you is this, their version of a wave opener. I'm told, and I haven't tried, that this is threaded in and can be taken out if you don't want it there. So very easily open with the Spidey hole. It's not a flickable knife. It's got sort of constant tension on it right there, but it can be flicked out if you get it started with your thumb. If you decide to pull it out of the pocket, it's going to open right up just like that, and will give you that position. You then just simply switch to this position. But it can also be used in a conventional edge down, point forward, or this way, ripping up. Interesting juxtaposition of finger choils, but mainly designed for the pinky to rest there and the thumb to lock in over the pommel. A very, shall we say, dangerous knife. If you know how to use it, it is extremely efficient for disarming, self-defense, and even a little bit of EDC. So that is the Spyderco Pikal. Last and certainly not least, the heavyweight of the group. Here is the SOG Seal XR. This is a heavy knife. This comes in well over 6 ounces, I think about 6.5 ounces, maybe 7. All right, wasn't going to weigh anything, but since I opened my mouth, we'll let you know what it weighs on my brand new scale. Oh, I was way off. Yeah, 8.13 ounces. It is a heavyweight knife. Flipper, XR lock, which is really their version of the Axis lock. You can thumb open it, and I don't have much luck at all Spidey flicking it, so I'm not even going to try on camera. But you can also simply pull back on the lock, and it'll swing open freely. Got an incredible pommel skull crusher there, jimping like crazy all the way around in both the steel liners, the steel back spacer, and into the, we're going to call this G10. And I'm not sure this is G10. I believe it is a glass-filled resin, which has a lot of impact resistance. It is made in the U.S., the one and only, if not the very few, that are made in the U.S. by SOG. I think the others are made in either Taiwan or China. I also have the Pentagon. I have the TAC XR. These are great knives. They lock up tight as a drum. Massively thick blade. Very powerful point. And this is your knife to do it all in a combat scenario for a folder, law enforcement, but even EDC. It's not going to carry deep. You do have the SOG branding on the clip, but it doesn't stand out too much. It is a heavy duty clip, short, but it hangs on. And you do have texturing underneath, so some people like to smooth out that texturing just underneath the contact point for the clip. It's a switchable pocket clip, right side, left side, tip up. And just overall an impressive knife that you can pick up for around 170, 160, 170. I think they dropped a little bit. Fair amount of branding there, small letters, tells you that this is about Studies and Observations Group, the new moniker for SOG. It is S35VN, good solid steel. And there you go. So let's bring them all back out. And I hope this was interesting for you. Trying to do different combos on knives, different brands, different types, different uses. And it struck me that I had a number of tactical knives. I tend to like them. I know I share that interest with Bob DeMarco. He likes his tactical knives as well. So I know how it is, Bob. Here on top we have the Seal XR. Next up we have the K320 by Hogue, made for SIG. Then we have the Gecko by Bastinelli and Fox, the Fact by Benchmade, and the P-Call point down edge in folder by Spyderco. Hope you enjoyed this. Don't forget to give it a like and subscribe if you haven't already. We need more subscribers, but we're coming up on 2,000, so at 2,000 I'm going to have another go. Keep your eyes and ears open for it. Okay, this old sword signing out.